Hello everybody on YouTube, this is Super Nintendo and welcome back to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Last time, we found our first memory. And we came back here after a long discussion about voice acting. All four of them came back. Sweet. Come here, little fairy. After a long discussion about voice acting. And we got the champion's tunic from Impa. Nope! I didn't want to talk to you! Leave me alone! We got the champion's tunic, which allows us to view enemy life gauges. So it's kind of like the mask in Wind Waker. All right, now I want to talk to the Great Fairy. I thought that summoning her would have scared away the other fairies. Powerful of me in just a little bit. Alright, we're gonna enhance our champion's tunic. Blow on my shirt and make it stronger. And since we have nothing else to enhance, we'll enhance that too. Alright, so I took a peek on my 100% file to decide where we should go next. And I have decided. We are going to head up to the northeast. Or northwest, rather. Northeast and west I often get confused, which is weird because I don't know. But in any case, we are going to go to the northwest. So, let's warp all the way to Central Tower. I'm going to put that away. Alright. Let's get going. That guardian shouldn't be a bother to us. Run! Oh, crap. Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone, you stupid enemies! God damn. Is somebody shooting electric arrows at us? How dare they? Alright, it would be in our... Oh, crap. That is a Henox. Those are pretty much like mini-boss enemies. We are not going to be fighting those things for a while. I mean, we could fight them, but it would be in our best interest if we did not. At least for right now. And sure, Mr. Sun, it would be a great idea for you to shine brighter in my goddamn bedroom. Where am I? Stop summoning yourselves! Ow! Great, thanks for using up one of my fairies, you jackass. Can't even see my fucking life gauge. I can't even see half my freaking screen because of the light glaring. Oh. Let's go with you. There we go. So yeah, you can see how the champion's tunic can come in quite handy. It also, like, it works really good for if you find one of those broken down guardians and you don't know whether or not it's still alive. Because it will show you the life bar of that thing before it even reactivates. Alright. Let's go onward. Fire arrows! It'd be a good idea for us to run. Ugh. Oh, of course, there's some choo-choos right there. Oh, screw you. I am running for my life. Running for my life. Running for my wife. I don't got no wife. Alright, there's a shrine nearby. See if we can find ourselves a shrine. Well, here's an enemy camp that ain't got no enemies near it. Let's loot this place and see what's in it. What this place has got. Rusty broadsword. It's got a bunch of choo-choos. Ooh, some bomb arrows. Excellent. 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 See if we can sneak up on one of these horses and grab one. Or not. I don't really know what to talk about. You know. We're just kind of running. We're just kind of running. Well, seeing as we're blue and we're running, I could talk about Sonic the Hedgehog and my feelings on that. You know, that's something we could do. I kind of feel like ever since Sonic Colors, the franchise has gone to shit. Like, I know a lot of people love Sonic Colors and think it's one of the best games in the franchise, but I just think it's fucking awful. You know, like, I've always hated the boost formula, but it's usually just kind of been to gameplay until I actually replayed Sonic Colors. That game has one of the worst fucking stories I've ever seen. Has one of the worst bits of gameplay I've ever seen. And keep in mind, I'm talking about the Wii version, the one that everybody seems to praise. And I really don't freaking get it. Why does everybody praise that hunking piece of crap? Like, seriously, you're spending most of that time just boosting, and when you're not boosting, you're in horribly... Oh, crap. You are in horribly, like, limited horribly limited gameplay sections where it's like you don't really. It's like 2D platforming, right? It's mostly 2D platforming, and the platforming isn't even good. Like, almost all the platforming is rudimentary at best. And it's just fucking terrible. Like, legitimately, one of the worst Sonic games I've ever played. Like, everybody complains a lot about how Sonic Forces is, including myself. But every single freaking problem you have with Sonic Forces is also in Sonic Colors. And I just don't understand why everybody praises Colors but hates Forces when they have the exact same fucking problems. Like, Colors was the downfall, pretty much. Like, one thing that you kind of got to give the Dark Era games credit for is that they were continuing a lot of what the original vision of the franchise was. The vision that has been there since the first game and continued all throughout the Adventure Era and all that other crap. Like, it continued that. You know, it was all about the story, the characters, the experimental gameplay, and whatnot. Because, like, here's the thing that a lot of Sonic fans do not want to never freaking acknowledge is that Sonic the Hedgehog, from his freaking inception, was an experimental game. He was an experimental franchise. That was kinda the way he was from the very freaking beginning. You know, no other character, to my knowledge, at that time was as speed or was in the market to have its characters be speed and platforming heavy. You know, no other character was like that. And the fact that the first game pulled it off as well as it did. Because, like, a lot of things... Here's something that the boost formula games do not seem to understand. And what a lot of modern Sonic fans don't seem to understand either. Is that Sonic, as a franchise, wasn't really about going fast. That was a selling point, yes. But the speed came from learning the levels and getting a little faster each time you do it. It was a reward for learning the levels. You didn't just hold down a button and blaze around at the speed of sound. That wasn't the point. That wasn't the way that the older games were. And this mentality continued all throughout the Dark Era games as well, albeit to a lesser extent. Like, in Sonic Adventure 1, you know, there's a mission in it... There's a mission in it that kind of requires you to, like, go really fast. Like, you gotta beat the stage in a certain amount of time. And you can do that by learning the levels. In fact, most of the time, in most of those levels, you need to find shortcuts that are out of your view. Like, with the first, with the Emerald Coast, I think is the first level name. Like, for Emerald Coast, for Gamma, you need to essentially jump off screen and, like, sequence break in order to beat the level as fast as the mission requires you to go. Something you're not going to think of unless you know the level. And that's kind of the idea of the Sonic franchise in a nutshell, is you're supposed to learn the levels to go fast. You don't just... That's why I hate the boost formula games, because they go against this mentality. They go completely against how the Sonic franchise was conceptualized. You know, like the idea, the basic idea of Sonic being a fast hedgehog kind of came from, like Super Mario Brothers, the first one, where, I think it was Yuji Naka, one of the people who worked in, the Sega and Sonic team for a long time. He said that he would always try to beat the first level of that game as fast as possible. And this was basically the conceptual idea of Sonic the Hedgehog. Because he kept trying to beat the first level as fast as he could, because he played it so many times he knew it like the back of his hand. That is the point of Sonic. But this is a thing that a lot of people seem to either forget or ignore in modern games nowadays. Like, the people who complain about, like, the mech shooting stages in Adventure 2 often complain, like, oh, there's enemies that just kind of spawn in out of nowhere. How are you supposed to know they were there? You weren't supposed to know they were there. Just like you weren't supposed to know that that those spike things at the beginning of the levels of the classic games were there. You're supposed to know they're there on future playthroughs, be like, okay, I'm in this level, I know that there are some spikes coming up now, and then you jump over them. That's the point. You're not supposed to run through and go around at the speed of sound from the very beginning, because otherwise you're gonna die or you're gonna get hurt a lot. Alright, let's talk to this guy. Eat cats! What is it, my smart man? What are you looking at? What could it be? I happened to notice that section of the cliff. Why is there... Oh, that's not a period. There's something on my screen. Never mind. I happened to notice that section of the cliff face there in the distance. It looks almost man-made. My smart man, tell me. You can see it too, yes? Actually, I can't. I would take a closer look if I could get there on my own. I can't see it because of my freaking light glaring, but he's talking about that. That's a clue for a Sheikah Shrine side quest. There are a few of those side quests hanging around. Alright, now that we've made it to another stable, I think we can end off the video here. We made a great deal of, progress getting all the way over here. So it would be a... Oh, this guy has a side quest for us. Great Fairy. Oh, pardon me, I was lost in thought. You've heard of the Great Fairy, right? The one from all those old stories? Well, they're not just stories. I believe the Great Fairy is real, and I'm on a journey to find her. There's a tower just beyond Tabantha Great Bridge. They say if you go to the top and look from the ground sometime in the afternoon, the tower's shadow will point to the Great Fairy's fountain. After hearing that legend, I decided to find out myself, but I'm stuck here at the stable because, well, no matter how hard I try, I just know I'll never be able to climb that tower. And to think, I even saved up all my rupees as an offering for the Great Fairy. But you look like you could climb that tower without even breaking a sweat. Would you be willing to make an offering to the rupees on my behalf? I will do it. Oh, thank you. Here, take my 500 rupees I saved up. It's my life savings. Please don't just go running off with it, okay? Okay, I'll do that. Whee! Okay. Next time on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, we are gonna go straight over, if I can actually get a good look at it, we are gonna, whoa, what happened? That thing just, okay, that's really weird. That thing isn't supposed to pop in and out like that. That thing's supposed to be visible from the other side of the frickin' map. Graphical glitches much. Anyway, we are gonna go all the way over there to that thing that looks like a finger pointing over there. See you guys then.